Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for your patience. We had a little bit of technical difficulty getting started here. What else is new, right, these days? Welcome to today's Liftoff webinar brought to you by LIFT, the National Advanced Materials and Manufacturing Innovation Institute, where we drive American manufacturing into the future through technology and talent development. LIFT is a public-private partnership where we convene and connect government, industry, and academia in the fields of advanced materials, manufacturing processes, systems engineering to enhance America's manufacturing competitiveness, national economy, and national security. My name is Beth Kreiderman Moss. I'm the Director of Contracts for LIFT, and I'm also the Program Manager for the Mentor Protégé Program that LIFT is managing on behalf of USA Mantech, OSD. Today we are lucky to have two proteges who are in active mentor protege agreements currently. Both of them are members of LIFT. Both organizations that they belong to are active members. And we thought this would be a great opportunity for those of you that have been following this a little bit, have an interest in the Mentor Protege Program from the perspective of a protege. This is an opportunity for them to share their best practices, a little bit about their organizations, their experiences going through this process, and maybe help save you a little bit of time and effort when you start to pursue your mentor protege agreement. So yes, these insights will be very helpful to help how small businesses thrive. So if you don't mind, I'd like to tell you a little bit of background on both these gentlemen before they take it from here. There'll be plenty of time for Q&A. We hope to see you populate that chat box as we move through the presentation. But first, I'd like to tell you a little bit about Mr. Aubrey Green. He is the president and owner of Tampa Brass Aluminum, otherwise called TBA. It's a vertically integrated U.S. manufacturer supporting critical programs in defense, aerospace, energy, and maritime sectors. With over 25 years of experience in oil and gas, energy, and manufacturing, Aubrey is leading the modernization of a legacy company into a digitally enabled, precision-focused manufacturing partner. Under his leadership, TBA has advanced capabilities in smart manufacturing, metrology, and supply chain integration. Through a mentor-protege partnership with Raytheon, he has helped transform TBA's quality systems and digital infrastructure, earning recognition as a Nunn Perry Award winner. That's a big deal in the mentor-protege world. And Raytheon 4-star supplier. Aubrey is also the founder and former CEO of RigFab Educational Services, a firm specializing in supplier development, quality assurance, and workforce training. Through RigFab, he has mentored over 10,000 professionals while promoting lean systems, employee engagement, and operational excellence. His work extends to the community and economic development through education and job skill programs, particularly in underserved areas. A strong supporter of the U.S. Navy's industrial base initiatives, Mr. Green is committed to advancing national readiness through scalable and smart manufacturing solutions. Also with us today is Jeremy Titan. Jeremy is a Chief Technical Officer for Elementum 3D. He's earned a PhD in Materials Science from the Colorado School of Mines. He is a co-inventor of a reactive additive manufacturing called RAM technology and has over 30 patents. At Elementum 3D, he has led programs with the Air Force, Army, NASA, Navy, and DARPA, leading to the development and commercialization of over a dozen new alloys for additive and advanced manufacturing and additive manufacturing. So Aubrey, could you take it from here? Tell us a little bit more about you and TBA.
Sure. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you, Lift. I'm very happy to be here to kind of go over about the Mentor Protégé Program. I'm a little nervous, so I'm not used to presenting. So you guys can laugh at me and send me some encouragements in the chat as we go. So just try to go through some of the experience for us. I purchased TBA at the end of fourth quarter of 2024. However, I've been involved with the operations and other things from a consulting standpoint here at TBA for over 2 years. And where we are now is nowhere where we were 2 years ago, way far advanced because of the Mentor Protégé Program. But also where we're going from here is just is what I call the Jetsons. My interns don't know what the Jetsons are, so talk about this thing. So imagine spaceships and things flying around. So kind of the wave of the future with advanced manufacturing, robotic arms, AI cameras, and things like that. So as it just says, build for defense, build for accountability. We're vertically integrated. We actually are. We're founded back in 1957, as you can see there. We're in a very large building. It's over 9,500 square foot. And traditionally, we've been a non-ferrous casting facility, but we actually started dabbling into ferrous castings here in the recent months, the last 6 months, with great success. A lot of complex geometries and other things that we were able to cast through various operations and other things, with partnerships as well with additives companies to help us with that. Why we joined the Mentor Protégé Program? So with Raytheon as our mentor and the MPP program, it offered us a rare opportunity to accelerate our growth alongside most advanced defense contractors, the most advanced defense contractor in the world. Together, we set out to leverage Raytheon's industry leading edge. There's a lot of very advanced things that Raytheon are involved in. Tomahawk missiles that we heard about this past weekend, among just tons of other programs that they're involved in. Applied engineering and compliance, from regulatory and quality, where I was to start at the beginning. And to kind of go through, as you guys can see a picture of the facility here. This is the 9,500 square foot facility. We are vertically integrated. We have been in business since 1957. It's family owned, third generation. I actually purchased it from the family. Most of the members of the family that were actively working for the company are still here, work for me now. So it's a great relationship and kind of transfer of knowledge and resources. About 95% of the work we do is for DoD. We divest completely of the energy sector of what we do in our business, focusing on primarily moving more and more closely to maritime defense support. So you guys can see that. Okay, still good? You still can see everything?
All good here.
All good. Okay, good. So with Raytheon as our mentor, as I said earlier, it just gave us a rare opportunity to really accelerate us with one of the top, defense companies in the world. So there's so many things that Raytheon has been able to offer us as our mentor. Leveraging their resources with process advancement, modernizing our own processes, understanding quality, traceability. We develop a sub-safe level 1 process. The workmanship related to the EB 2678, have a great understanding of across the whole organization of how these things work. Develop our engineering team, our quote to order process. Just lots of details throughout. Obviously, all the stuff you would typically want or understand. Lean Six Sigma, ERP. We're actually redeveloping our ERP system to be more ready for capture management, but also for requirement capture and flow down. So just to your point, you mentioned this earlier about the non-peri board. So you don't see me in those pictures because I was there, but I was the guy in the background writing the script, make sure that the former president and CEO that you see the pictures there, Chris Lato, was successful. There you see with them is the Raytheon leadership team, as well as the MPP for the Navy leadership team. It was a great time. This is last year where we received the award. So from grit to growth, this slide is near and dear to me. Understand what it takes in the manufacturing space with the skilled labor gaps, and material cost volatility, and this other things that just naturally plague supply chain, add supply chain risk from a commodity standpoint, from a casting commodity standpoint. Sand casting, as you guys all probably very well know, are prone for late defects and other things like that. But understanding how to really start capturing that, growing from that from a continuous improvement standpoint is truly what the MPP program has served us. Um, and it's a team effort. We do Kaizen events. We don't use a bunch of Japanese words around here, but my melt deck team has no problem stopping and coming into our team center and using the whiteboard and figuring out why they're having certain issues with certain things. And it's great to see how the MPP program has impacted the culture overall. Scaling the business. How one of the things that our mentors from Raytheon, and the one in particular, was really focused on is like, Aubrey, now that you have control of the business, really want to understand where you want the business to go. Where do you see this going? And what I've learned from a lot of the experiences with our mentor Raytheon is I might think I know and I have an idea, I have the vision, which is all true, but it's better to leave things open so you're open to receive the advice and they can see gaps that you can't. You have blind spots as a as a protege, and that's just kind of goes to the title of it. That'll help kind of get through certain things. So as you like I said, divine your capabilities here, early, and you want to make sure that you're fully transparent with your mentor. They will help you in ways that you can't even imagine. So what's next for us? Newer capabilities, bigger missions. I mentioned about the Ferris castings, Tomahawk missile program, things like that. We're getting involved in it immediately. Additive manufacturing, 3D printers related to making patterns, tooling, fixtures, binder jet printers for high mix, low volume type parts. Workforce development pieces. We have training programs that we're implementing into an LMS system that we developed internally, part of our new ERP initiatives. Our quote to order process is second to none, where it took 2 weeks to turn a quote around. Now it takes less than 2 days for us to turn a quote around, have a quote review. It triggers things along the way. And then going to using what we've been awarded, we've been awarded quite a bit of money from FDS funding to expand. This is from the Navy, this is from the Maritime Industrial Base, to expand and our capabilities, our capacity, and get us more into the manufacturing facility of the future. So as I just said, we're not just a manufacturer partner. We're not just a supplier. We're actually a lot more than that. We want to support the industry. We want to support the economic development of our community here where we are. We want to continue to expand these new ideas and new innovation to other foundries that are out there. God knows that they need it. A lot of them been in business for a long time. They're having a tough time adjusting to some of the new culture of quality and regulatory compliance. And we're hoping to continue to be the poster child for new innovations and how things are done. Thank you.
Aubrey, thank you. That was awesome. So appreciate it. I know how busy you are, and to make time to share your expertise and experience with other small businesses that are thinking about or pursuing or looking at this, it really means the world to them. There's nothing like talking to somebody who's been through it. So I really, really appreciate the fact that you took the time to be here today. And that also goes for you, Jeremy. Same thing. Thank you so much for being here. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience, who you are, and a little bit about Elementum?
Yeah, I'll start with a little bit of background on who Elementum is. So I'm Jeremy Eiton, Chief Technology Officer.
Hey, me, Aubrey. I do have a question for you while we get Jeremy back.
Yeah,
Can you
I
hear me?
lost you guys too. Can you? I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're
Okay,
all
great.
good. I think it happened on Jeremy's end, and I wasn't sure if it was us, me, what the heck was going on. It's one of those days. But one of the questions that I have, and I thought about in looking at some of the things that we talked about earlier through your questions, and I think this is an important question, and it really comes to the basis of what a mentor protege agreement is and how you come to what the deliverables are. And that deliverable package is really comes from a gap analysis, an assessment on what your program needs, or what your needs are with organizationally, to take it to the next level. Um, how did you approach identifying the capability gaps that the program would do to help you address those? What was that experience like?
So it's a tedious process. You have to be patient with yourself, um, and a lot of times you have to encourage patience from your mentor, because you want to get it as right as possible. It doesn't have to be perfect, but with the 90 to 95% as close as you can get it. You truly need to understand the strategic vision and the strategic goals of the business, um, and how they relate to the industry, the customers you ultimately are being mentored to serve. So a lot of questions around that, a lot of questions around the programs that are similar to whatever NIMS, those are part numbers, or whatever you're being developed to do. Um, Obviously it's going to be your business is not just going to be, we're just going to make this one part and that's it. For us, we're in the Navy Seawiz program, so it wasn't just parts related to the Navy, the Navy related to Seawiz. We're looking at the Navy as a whole. So we entered, the mil specs and these and the I mentioned about EB 2678, these other things, NAVC this, NAVC that, to make sure that you truly understand, not just equipment wise, capability wise, um, personnel is key. People are everything. With the right people in an organization, you can accomplish anything. How do you upskill the team properly? How are they going to receive that upskilling? Um, Engagement with the team. Make sure you're engaging the team. Your internal team. Hey, this is where we want to go. Um, we want to make sure that you guys are all on board on a bus, and let's talk about what you feel it would take for you to be able to support us getting there. So gap analysis is not just your mentor coming in and saying this, that, this. Gap analysis needs to be with your team as well, because they need to be fully bought into the direction of the company, um, and of the whole program. And then keeping the team, your entire organization, completely engaged. Things that you think won't impact your supply chain team or your warehouse team, it absolutely will, believe it or not. Things that you think that, I mentioned about a level one material handling process. Dude, that impacted those guys out on the floor tremendously, in the training it took to do that. So I would say that is the biggest thing. And what my mentor, sometimes he's impatient with. He loses a little patience with me, which I can understand. Um, because I tend to be more, uh, a little slower. I move super fast, but it's, let's make sure we got these things right. Let's make sure we're making the right decisions on the training, on the leadership development. Let's make sure we have the right people in. Let's make sure we're investing in the right team members from an engineering standpoint, are the people that are on our shop floor that are ready for the next level. Or maybe they're not, but I want them to be a part of this training, so to be exposed, to be encouraged to be a part of upskilling. There's a lot of little nuances that go into that. But I would say that that's is the key is to be patient and to be as collaborative as possible through the whole process.
So you mentioned this collaboration, and I'm glad you talked about that. That it's a term that I think a lot of people throw around, but true collaboration is sometimes not comfortable. You have to agree to disagree, and sometimes you have to suck it up. And as much as, especially being a business owner, having probably all this, you got a big dog in the fight when it comes to making these types of strategic decisions. I'm curious, did Raytheon, did you kind of set out or present to them or lay out where you wanted to go, and then Raytheon sort of said that's great, Mr. Green, but I think for you should maybe take it in a different direction, and here's what we think your strategy should look like, down to, like you even said, identifying. You identified part numbers, what I call NSNs. Maybe they're called different in the network that you're working in. Yeah, there you go. They helped you identify those, or those were already things that you had identified. How did that pan out?
So no, as far as the NIMS we call them are on our end, they helped us identify those. They came and sat down with us, their engineering team out here with myself, our engineering team, some of our leadership in our operations team, and we looked at drawings, and then we went and looked at equipment, and then we looked at personnel to support that, and we developed the gap in that way. It was extremely collaborative, and not just, oh, yep, I think that'll work. Yep, I think that. It wasn't like shopping at Walmart. It was, hey, let's go try this on. Let's walk out there and let's show this drawing to the guy in the shop floor that's going to have the machinist, or or the RT lab. Let's go to the RT lab and let's look at make sure this requires RT. Is this too thick? Is it too, does it fit in the envelope from a configuration standpoint, and doing the RT sketch? Are you going to be able to support this? So it wasn't just a, yep, this is what we want to do, and go from there. It was absolutely extremely collaborative, and it had to be in order to keep to gain everything that was there to be offered.
So how long did that process take? And I have to immediately, and I'm looking at the reality of today's situations. I mean, this probably took a lot of travel on behalf of Raytheon before you even get to where you have an agreement to submit. How long did it take to get an MPA, a mentor protege agreement, to the point where you felt that was good for submission? And how many meetings? I mean, if you had to estimate, was it just a constant sort of communication, or you met, for 6 months every other week, or how did that timing work?
Yeah. So Beth, in all fairness, I wasn't here when the initial engagement started, right? So I came
Gotcha.
into it. It was already a contract. I was up for renewal, and it was up to me at that point to renew the contract and to continue in the program, because we were already in year three. So
Gotcha.
I got to really review the language of the contract. I sat down with our mentor, Terry Downing is an amazing, amazing guy from Raytheon, and we went over things in detail. And he was very mindful because him and I, we have a history, so we have a lot of experience already working together. And we went through it with a fine tooth comb, and he's asking about certain things. No, we absolutely need this. These are things that I'm not sure about. Right down to, we have a internship program with HBCU, summer internship program. So we got two kids here that have traveled here from an HBCU to spend the summer with us, and it was important for me for them to be, the non-traditional interns, which are generally, engineers, mechanical engineers and others. The one kid is he just graduated with his accounting degree, and he's going to, after to get his master's. So I have him working with my cost pooling, my cost accounting team, so he started understanding FedRed and it's the other things which is needed in our industry, right? From this, how do we usher them in? And the other is a communication major, right? Not even what you would normally think that we would have in an internship program, but it's important that things like getting this set up and these kind of things, that we have a team members that can do these kind of things and make sure our branding and the way we all look is done properly. So it's very important to expand that. So it did take some back and forth, a lot of travel on Terry's part. Obviously we're in Tampa, Florida. Terry is actually in California, so he's got a lot of airline miles that, that he's racked up initially. But we do a lot of stuff remote. We talk, we have tag ups regularly, and we text almost continually. And then I had a great team to help onboard me into the process.
Awesome. And one of the things that as part of all that you kind of alluded to a little bit in your overview briefing, business owners as yourself have a vision of where you want to take the organization, what you anticipate as your growth rate, how to grow smart. So scaling smart, what can you share with other businesses that they should know when we're taught and we want to dream big? What is meant by that term, scaling smart? What do you have to share with other companies in their growth capacity?
This is really, I'm so thankful for that question. And it might be a little non-traditional, the methods that I have, me personally, and the team related to a lot of these things. It's to me, it's about failures. The biggest growth that we have personally are generally based on failures that we have in our lives, right? So how do we know where we want to go and then speed to where we're failing, speed to document that, sit down, like I mentioned about the melt deck team. They're used to coming to the team center. This is why. So we developed doing 70/30 copper nickel 964. Never been done here before. We developed doing ferrous castings. Never been done here before. But they understand, hey, we're going to try it, and we're going to try it now, and we're not going to sit around and talk about it a whole lot, and we're going to fail. We're going to document it, and as soon as we get it close, now we don't change more than two factors at a time, right? So that's scaling smart. You go forward, get as close as you can, stop when unsure or whatever, then you document it. And when you get close, now you're not changing more than two factors at a time. The whole team knows that is the rule. But they document
Right.
everything before, during, and then after, and then they review. I can't tell you how much growth we had, exponential growth, just because of that. So
Excellent.
if you gain 1% every day, over a period of a work year, you're well over 100% in growth.
Thank you for sharing that. I think that's important. And I think that what you mentioned, the documentation aspect of that is critical to look back and see where you've been. You can't really tell where you are if you can't see where you've been and make a educated guess or decision on growth. You can now set a trajectory. So, hey, Jeremy, we lost you. Glad to
Yeah, I
see you're back. You're
apologize.
alive.
Our office fiber internet just completely went down, so I tethered from my cell phone. I'm back in, but I apologize. I'm not sure where.
Yeah. You're still a little bit in and out, but I think we're at a point. If you can share your slides with us, if we'll see how that goes. And thank you for sharing that with us. If we see you're having problems, we'll jump in.
Okay,
Uh,
yeah, I'm going to need to be presenter. Okay, 1 second.
yeah, leave it to today when your complete network dies on you during a webinar that you're
Yeah,
presenting in.
of course, that's the
Okay.
timing, right?
Yay. All right. Thank you, sir. Go ahead. Take it away.
Okay, so Elementum 3D is, sorry, 1 second. I actually went through most of my slides not realizing I was offline. So we'll start here. I'm Jeremy Eiton, CTO at Elementum 3D. Our core business is the high performance AM metal feedstock powder supply And part of that we do AM, material, process, and application development and qualification. So we're focused on developing new alloys from the ground up, all the way through to helping customers with qualifying their parts for aerospace or other critical applications. One example of us succeeding in this area is we did win the U.S. Air Force Rapid Sustainment Office's Advanced Manufacturing Olympics gold medal for the materials hurdles category for our 7050 RAM2 based aluminum alloy. Our goal is to help power the next frontier. We're working with in a lot of different areas, including space. We had NASA JPL do qualification of our 6061 RAM2 alloy to their NASA 6030 specification and actually get parts launched on the Europa Clipper mission that were the first ever parts produced to their standard out of our material. We're involved in Formula One racing, critical high performance applications where extracting every last bit of performance is important. Power and energy is another area like this. Propulsion and defense, we're highly active in defense and propulsion areas. Our facilities are located in Erie, Colorado. That's just north of Denver and east of Boulder, in between the Denver International Airport and Boulder. We have our headquarters about 10,000 square feet and a second facility that's also about 10,000 square feet within 2 miles of the headquarters. We have dedicated development printing capacities. We are printer manufacturer agnostic, but in-house we do have EOS and SLM printers. Then we work closely with other printer manufacturers, including 3D Systems, Trump, and others. We were founded in 2014. We have 27 plus technology patents, about 40 employees, 220 plus customers, and a 400-ton annual capacity for our powder feedstock production. We can increase that capacity as needed as well. We have aluminum atomization capabilities coming online soon. Those are custom designed and developed aluminum atomization capabilities, Techna plasma spheritization capabilities for powder as well, RAM powder production capacity, and we can produce ton scale powder lots for customers. We're ISO 9001 and AS 9100 certified, DFARS, NIST 800 171 compliant, working on CMMC cybersecurity audited capability, but right now kind of a level 1 compliant, ITAR registered federal firearms license as well. Our reactive additive manufacturing technology, I'll just touch on this. We basically are using reaction synthesis type technology with additive manufacturing to form nanoscale precipitates in situ during the additive manufacturing process. So these nanoscale phases that we're synthesizing in the process, they can do a few things, including making metals that otherwise might be unweldable and therefore unprintable, making those printable and weldable, and also improving the properties of alloys even that may already be printable. Here's an example of that with a 6061 based aluminum composition. So 6061 is one of many wrought aluminum alloys that are known to be challenging to weld. And if anything's challenging to weld with a fusion-based AM process, it's usually going to be even worse. So an alloy like this, when printed, is going to tend to crack. It's going to have a very long columnar type grain structure, often hundreds of microns or even millimeters in scale that cracks during solidification. This makes the alloy unusable for printing. But with our RAM process, we can use like a RAM2, for example, which is a nominal 2 volume percent of product phase. This now fully refines the grain structure to a cross-sectional diameter of under 2 microns, and this produces excellent properties and eliminates any cracking concerns. We can do similar things with nickel superalloys and other materials. This is an example of a Haynes 230 type alloy system that also undergoes solidification cracking when printed. We've been able to use modeling with the Colorado School of Mines and supported by the Office of Naval Research to explain why this cracking occurs in this otherwise weldable and good behaving alloy, why it is essentially very poor for fusion-based printing. We've been able to explain that and also develop solutions for that using our RAM technology to refine the microstructure and eliminate any cracking concerns, and then significantly improve strength and creep performance of that alloy. We work in a number of different material systems, including aluminum alloys, oftentimes based on high-strength wrought alloys that otherwise would be unprintable because of weldability challenges. We also have custom aluminum metal matrix composite materials, RAM nickel alloy systems, including a Haynes 230 type alloy system, an Inken L625 type alloy system with improved performance. We're a co-exclusive license holder for NASA's GRX 810 oxide dispersion strengthened nickel cobalt chrome based alloy. We work in copper alloys, refractory metals, tungsten, tantalum, rhenium, molybdenum, and a bit of work in steels as well. Our Mentor Protégé program is with our mentor, Northrop Grumman Aerospace Systems. They're based in Redondo Beach, California. Our start date for this program was November 1st, so we're relatively new into the program, but we've already made a lot of progress. Some of the focus areas that we're looking at and really trying to focus on includes Defense Contract Audit Agency, DCAA compliant accounting systems, and we've somewhat recently now passed our DCAA audit, and so we're certified as having a compliant accounting system for cost basis contracts with the government. Also working on compliance with Defense Contract Management Agency purchasing systems, and also working towards gap analysis and better understanding of what else we need to do for cybersecurity maturation models or CMMC certification. And then working on understanding also training and an actual assessment of our manufacturing readiness level, or MRL, for one of those materials based on the 230 RAM alloy system. That's an important thing to do for us as a supplier. It helps us to be able to explain and communicate risk and where we are with our manufacturing readiness of a given product. And then material qualification and data set generation support, again, for the alloy 230 RAM material in particular. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to additional questions and answers.
Yeah, excellent. A lot of good stuff there. I think what is probably the number one question for both Aubrey and Jeremy, if you want to chime in, how did you find your mentor? And we have to tell people all the time, they're looking for a mentor. How do I find a mentor? We tell people you have to be sort of threaded into the network. You have to be out there talking to people, talking to OEMs, talking to potential mentors that are in the Mentor Protégé program, and even those who are in DoD, OEMs that are in DoD that may not have considered being a mentor. Jeremy, how did you connect with Northrop Grumman in this way?
Yeah, so in this case, we had already been doing work in a few different areas with Northrop Grumman, including different areas of Northrop Grumman. And it was actually Northrop Grumman that reached out to us and let us know, hey, are you familiar with this Mentor Protégé program? It might be a good fit for us to partner on this. So we were fortunate to have that existing relationship that, them recognizing that we're still a small business, we're still trying to grow in our capability and ability to work with a large prime contractor like Northrop Grumman and work directly with the DoD as well. And so they reached out, let us know about the program, asked us if we thought it would be a good fit. We looked into it a bit and agreed that, yeah, this does look like a great fit and we'd love to work with them on it. And so therefore jointly completed the application for the program.
Excellent. Would you like to comment, Aubrey? How did you connect with Raytheon? I know you said that agreement was in play prior to you taking over the organization. Do you have any, historical thoughts on how that relationship was formed?
I think the relationship was formed through just similar to what Jeremy described. However, I do have some advice for small business leaders that want to get involved. So if you do some research on the MPP program, there's there's a list of approved mentors companies that is very easy to find at school, and you can see all the companies that are involved with the Mentor Protégé program. So there's a start. Do you feel you offer something, a product or service that might be of interest to one of those companies? You could reach out to their small business team, and generally all have those because they have to maintain that to be a part of the Mentor Protégé program. So that's one way to start getting involved and on understanding more things about it. The second way I would say, and it's extremely valuable, is generally once a year, sometimes more than once a year, they have a Mentor Protégé conference, MVP conference. That's actually where I met you guys at, Lyft. Last year's conference when we won got the Numperi Award. There were tons of new small businesses that just want to get involved, want to get some information about it, and they go from there. And that's the Mentor Protégé conference where all the seven, I'll call it seven entities, branches come together. Each one of those didn't have their own conference. So DLA has their own. The Navy has their own. The Army they have their own conference for support small business development. So these are things that you can also attend to see if there's interest there as well, and to gain some opportunities to get involved in the Mentor Protégé program.
Thank you for that. I don't know if we lose Jeremy? I think he's still there. He just took himself off camera. So to try to help bring it full circle for the folks in the audience, the Mentor Protégé program is basically a cost reimbursement contract awarded to the mentor organization. So in Aubrey's case, Raytheon was awarded a cost reimbursement contract by the Office of Small Business Programs. And in Jeremy's case, it was Northrop Grumman that got the award. And that award is based off that Mentor Protégé agreement, which is through the gap analysis that Jeremy and Aubrey have alluded to. Where the MIIs, such as LIFT, Manufacturing Innovation Institutes, we got involved because we are now authorized subcontractors to provide services to the Protégé companies. So if there was a particular specific training need, or maybe experience with some type of operational equipment, Jeremy's doing a lot in forging forward, no pun on the word forging, but pushing forward in alloy development. That is right in the lane of LIFT. That's what we do, is material alloy development in the material space. So you can, that mentor, Northrop Grumman, Raytheon, or whomever it may be in the future, part of those services can be basically subcontracted to an MII to help that protege. So here's a question I have for both of you. Why would a small business then even want to play in this space? Because you don't get any money from this, right? I mean, it's not that there's no money that comes to TBA or Elementum 3D. It goes to the prime, the mentor. So why would a protege want to care? Give me your thoughts on that. Aubrey, you first,
Sure.
if you don't mind.
Okay. There is something called the PPI. So they're trying something new to see if they could advance some type of funding to the mentors to help to develop certain things, success or whatever other things there might be. But it's very distinct, very concise training and development of your business and of your team at the cost of your mentor and the small, the Office of Small Business, like that you mentioned. There's tremendous advantages and opportunities and relationships that are developed throughout it. I'm mentioning a relationship that I've been able to forge, and partnership I've been able to forge with Lyft themselves. I wouldn't know who Lyft was if it wasn't for us being a part of the Mentor Protégé program, and having us come to the event last year in Columbus, and then be able to go actually tour your facility. been
Yeah.
seeing that there's these great things and great
Detroit,
opportunities.
Detroit,
That's
sir.
right, in Detroit, the
Not too
beautiful
far
Motor
from
City.
Columbus.
So,
We have a better football team, but hey.
oh, easy, easy. Shout out to 313. So, but just a lot of great opportunities. This last month, we went to Raytheon facility in Texas. Their large facility there, and then right across town, Lockheed's large facility. We've been invited to go to I want to say it's called Oak Ridge.
Oak Ridge National Labs.
Yep, that National Lab to understand, additive a lot more than we do. I can't wait to come tour your facility, Jeremy. I'm so excited about you, bro. I'm so excited. A lot of the old casting houses look at you as competition. You are absolutely not. You are the future. So I can't wait to collaborate with you on a lot of new materials. Um, um, but that it opens up doors even like this that we're talking here. That you can't even begin to quantify.
Excellent. Jeremy, we're getting to the top of the hour, but I really, what are your thoughts on that? What are the benefits to a protege? You don't get the cash in hand, but what do you see as the best case for why this would be something that you'd want to consider if you're a small business?
Yes, and that was a great response by Aubrey there, and yeah, even more than that, Aubrey, we're still a customer of companies like yourselves, so we're very happy with what you guys are doing as well. It's very impressive. As far as the program, the program actually can help save a lot of necessary business costs and time with the program because these are things that your company really should be working on doing already. So yes, you have to put time and sometimes cost into these things, but they're things that are already important for the business. They're things that you help select that you want to be doing when you're doing the initial proposal and gap assessment of the program. And so that, for example, in our case with Northrop Grumman, the product testing and qualification data alone that Northrop Grumman has helped generate, that would cost us more than $100,000 to try and produce that internally. And that's even almost kind of a side aspect of the program we're doing with them. That's just kind of a product onboarding with them that is also going to be helpful for other customers. But beyond that, consultants for supporting CMMC, DCAA compliance, and so on. All those kind of things would be very costly to go through. And even if you're doing it internally, the time that you would require to be able to achieve these things through internally, the research, the efforts, all of that you can save a lot of time by having an expert like someone like Northrop Grumman that is very skilled in these areas and even skilled at training businesses in these areas, having them motivated to help you achieve these things in your own business.
And
And
that's a really good question.
similarly,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah, go
Sorry.
ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that, we kind of identified why it would make sense for a protege to want to get involved. But, if I understand correctly, these are usually one base year with two options. They're generally up to 600K per year, up to $1 million per year if there's a justification for that added cost. So potentially a $3 million award to the prime, the mentor, over 3 years, to a Northrop Grumman or a Raytheon, I mean, that's decimal dust. But so they're not in it for the money. I mean
Right.
it will, yeah, helping you pay for your time and effort, but what's in it for them? Why would they want to be a mentor?
Yeah, so I think the big thing is that it helps one for them to have an interest in what you're doing. Do they care about your services or products? And if they do, this is a method for them to uh, undergo a difficult onboarding and qualification to help ensure the services and products that they want are available within their company that otherwise would cost them a lot of money to onboard and qualify a vendor, especially if the vendor or supplier needed assistance. Then it becomes, a challenge for them, and it's a barrier to entry that even if they're interested, hey, it's too much effort for us to go work with this small business. Let's just use our existing supply chain, even if it's, even if they prefer to be able to use your products and services, it's a big barrier. So them being able to now bill their time to a program to be able to do all this work that otherwise would have to be somehow done outside of their existing programs and can be very challenging.
Aubrey, do you have anything to add? Why is it helpful? Why is Raytheon interested in TBA?
So what would you say are what's the value for Raytheon? So one, there's some things through government contracting that helps if you have any level of AA certifications for large primes like that. So that's one of the things. It makes us it helps to mitigate supply chain risk. So they're able to develop us directly, in-house, hands-on. So any type of capability gaps or other things, they are able to really um, help close, or really see can it be closed on these things to help mitigate costs or schedule risk related to us as a supplier for them. It also benefits them where we become more or less a prime where we can have teaming agreements with them, dealing directly with the DoD. I know that with NAFSUP, we're actually getting them directly from NAFSUP now, and they're helping develop us too, so we can be independent and work with them in conjunction to support these programs. So there's a lot of benefits for Raytheon from a supply chain de-risking aspect.
Excellent, excellent. And then that's what it's all about, is really finding the win-win. Guys, we are at the top of the hour, and I don't want to run over, but I would like to offer both of you, if you could, in a few sentences, any closing comments of advice for someone getting started. What's their first consideration? Leave it at that. First consideration for a small business wanting to engage in the Mentor Protégé Program for DoD. Jeremy, what do you say?
Yeah, get your
First
pitch
consideration.
together. Yeah, I would say get your pitch together, be able to explain what your products and services that you can offer, and then reach out to the primes. Let them know what you can do, and look for an opportunity like the Mentor Protégé Program to help support that relationship.
Aubrey,
Yep.
anything to add?
I just echo what Jeremy just said. The pitch is the tip of the spear. You have it together, have it ready. Don't overthink it. Just do it. But take good notes. Always show up with a notebook. Always show up with intent. And with a listening ear to make sure that that is clear that you're there to present a win-win to your potential protege. You want to be able to help them with certain things. You might want to say, hey, what are your pain points? Then that needs to be part of your pitch. I'm here to try to figure out how to support you.
Excellent. Guys, thank you. So thank you all for joining today's webinar. Stay tuned for more information. There will be more webinars to come. We'd like to kind of replicate this, but from the perspective of the mentor next time around, and then maybe conclude with a third. This is our first. The second being, let's hear from mentors, and the third, let's bring it all together and have some talking points where we can have maybe a larger session on having both mentors and proteges in the mix, maybe some authorized subcontractors. So stay tuned, and thank you for helping us power to shape tomorrow's manufacturing landscape. Discover more about LIFT, our groundbreaking projects and membership opportunities at lift.technology. Mark your calendars for July 23rd, which is when our next Liftoff webinar is. Thank you and have a great day, everybody. Happy Wednesday.
Yep. Thank you, Beth.
Thank
Jeremy.
you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Lift.